It's the NFL on CBS, Qualcomm Stadium, just outside downtown San Diego for one of the great AFC rivalries, Oakland and San Diego. Up to the minute playoff picture, the AFC, Kansas City has lost today, so the Raiders back atop the AFC West, and today, very simple for them. Win, and they are in for the first time since 2002. Today's game being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. Spero Dedes, Salman Wilcott, Scott Kaplan, our entire CBS crew from Qualcomm Stadium here in San Diego. Temperatures right around 60 degrees. Salman, here we go. So much riding on this one, of course, for the Raiders as that long postseason drought nears its end. Oakland did win the toss, they defer, and so Isaiah Burse returning that Sebastian Janikowski kick. Early flag after the 17-yard return.
During the return, holding, return team number 48. Half the distance to the goal, 1st and 10.
Our referee, John Parry, you see what he and his crew have done this season in terms of average penalty calls. So here comes Philip Rivers onto the field off one of the worst statistical games of his career last week in the loss at Carolina. 5 turnovers, including 3 interceptions and 2 strip sacks, as the Chargers fell to 5-8. Houston has defeated Jacksonville, a game that has just gone final, as the Texans keep their spot atop the AFC South. They'll go one play to begin. This is Kenneth Farrow making his first career start. Injury to Melvin Gordon sustained in that loss last week to Charlotte. Orlando Franklin on the injury report this week with a rib injury, but he is up and does make the start for Mike McCoy and the Chargers. And there is the aforementioned Farrow, undrafted out of Houston. No Melvin Gordon, the hip and knee injury sustained on the same play back in the first quarter of that game. And so the second-year man who's had such a big season on the shelf.
They want to be able to run the ball. It's about keeping the offense in sync for Philip Rivers.
Rivers from the gun here on 2nd and 4. Little sidearm delivery, completes, 1st down and more. That's the rookie tight end, Hunter Henry. Their 2nd-round pick, 1st down on the catch and run as he keeps that pile going. A pickup of 20 for the Chargers. How about this Ken Norton coach Oakland defense? Khalil Mack has been an absolute monster, tied for 4th in the league in sacks with 11, has had one at 8 straight, tying a franchise record. Bruce Irvin, big free agent signing coming over from Seattle, 5 sacks to headline the linebackers, and Nate Allen, 2nd straight start for their rookie 1st-round pick, Carl Joseph out of West Virginia. Joseph down again with that toe injury. So after the 20-yard pass play, 1st and 10 from the 35. Play to Farrow, taking on tacklers to the 36. I welcome those of you that have been watching other NFL action around the league. Spero Dedes, Salman Wilcott, Scott Kaplan, our entire CBS crew from Qualcomm Stadium. San Diego and Oakland opening possession of this game. And one thing we know about the Chargers, they've gone up and down the field. That is exactly the case, Salman, in the first meeting between these two teams back in Week 5.
And a good mix between the run and the pass. The tight ends will factor heavily in the passing attack for the Chargers today.
Rivers again from the gun, 2nd and 9. Slinging it near side of the field. That's caught. Dontrell Inman, a pickup of 6. As he's forced out of bounds. So 3rd and 3 now as Rivers and the Chargers will look to move the chains. There is the head coach of the Raiders, Jack Del Rio, has this team on the cusp of a postseason berth. Grew up a Raiders fan, East Bay native. What a moment it could potentially be for him and his franchise if they can get one on the road here in San Diego. Rivers on 3rd and 3, quick release, and it is caught. That's Inman again. 1st down and more inside Raiders territory, a pickup of 9 and a good-looking opening drive for the Chargers.
Philip Rivers is getting off to a really good start. They are excellent in terms of running the ball on early downs. Here you see in that bunch, tight formation, Dontrell Inman, he's able to get that out cut, but the ball is coming out of the hands of Philip Rivers very quickly. He said when that back foot hits the ground, ball has to come out to be able to avoid the pass rush with Khalil Mack.
England's been huge for him. Touchdown catch in each of their last 3 games. First down reception here. Run play on 1st and 10 to Farrell. Spiro Dedes, Solomon Wilcott, Scott Kaplan, our entire CBS crew from Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. We welcome those of you that have been watching action from around the NFL. A very simple scenario for the Oakland Raiders today, who are back atop the AFC West with the Kansas City loss at home to Tennessee. A win for the Raiders, and they are in for the first time since 2002. Opening possession of this game. Rivers under center, 2nd and 8. Play action, fakes the handoff to Farrell. He's going to take a shot. And that pass into the shadows falls incomplete. Let's get you caught up to the minute AFC playoff picture. We mentioned the Kansas City loss at home. Last-second field goal by Ryan Succop to win it for the Titans. And so that means that the Raiders, Solomon, back atop the West. And again, a win and they're in scenario.
That's a good scenario considering the last time we saw these Raiders, it was in Kansas City where they fell in that Thursday night game. And Jack Del Rio talked about he felt his defense played well. They were able to get 3 turnovers defensively, could not convert in the red zone. Those are the areas where they have to improve upon here today.
Rivers from the gun on 3rd and 8, fires down the field. He's got his man. It is caught for the Chargers touchdown. It's Travis Benjamin, and he was wide open. 47 yards from Rivers.
Wow, Benjamin gets open. He's just streaking down the field. I'm going to show you exactly where he's going to come from. He comes from here, and watch Philip Rivers. This ball is going to be thrown over the head of the defense before Khalil Mack can close in on the pass rush. Great route, great arm and accuracy from Rivers. He beat the corner, Sean Smith, on the play. These receivers, they feel like they can make big plays against the Raiders secondary, and we saw it right there on the Chargers' first possession.
So many big chunk plays that the Chargers had in that first meeting, Solomon, that you mentioned earlier back in Week 5 in Oakland. And Rivers going right to work against this Raiders defense. Extra point from Lambeau is good. Rivers drives him 8 plays, 91 yards, 47 yards on the strike to Benjamin. Chargers in front. First opening drive touchdown allowed by the Raiders defense since late last season, Week 17 at Kansas City. As Philip Rivers fires the 309th touchdown pass of his illustrious career. 7-0 Chargers. As we welcome you back to the Q, Spiro Dedes, Solomon Wilcott, and Scott Kaplan. Low bouncing kick is fielded by DeAndre Washington, and he'll get close to the 30. Oh, we know the stadium saga has been the major headline here in San Diego. Let's get the very latest right now with Scott Kaplan. Scott?
Spiro, I had a very candid pregame conversation with Chargers owner Dean Spanos, who told me, and this is the first time I've ever heard him say this, that he's now leaning towards moving his team to Los Angeles. His failed vote in November required 2/3. It only got 43%. He said if it would have gotten 50%, he would have committed to San Diego. He said he's holding out hope. He still plans to stay in San Diego, or at least not make a decision until after the season. But now he says he's leaning towards going to LA.
All right, Scott, great information there. That deadline, of course, January the 15th, as Derek Carr goes to the airways to get the party started for the Raiders. That's Michael Crabtree on the catch. And already some jawing between these two teams. So again, all eyes on Derek Carr, who has struggled since sustaining that dislocation to his right pinky finger, Solomon, on his throwing hand. He is never the guy to make excuses as he tries to get himself healthy.
Yeah, he didn't want to blame it on that injured pinky finger on his throwing hand. He really said it was more about his footwork, his release, and his follow-through. Spent the week working on those fundamentals and expects to improve here today.
Carr with that completion already has eclipsed the 3,500-yard passing mark. Second quarterback in franchise history to do it in successive seasons. Rich Gannon, our colleague and good buddy, the only other to accomplish that feat. First down on the play to Latavius Murray. Starters up front. Kelechi Osemele, of course, was that late scratch last week in the loss to Kansas City. The kidney stone is back. Their best offensive lineman, and Latavius Murray, 100 yards for the second time this season in that loss to the Chiefs. What a piece he's been to this offense as the Raiders play from behind early in this game, down 7-0. Crabtree in motion, low snap taken by Carr over the middle, and it is caught. That's Crabtree again. And it looks like Crabtree may be a bit hurt, took a hard shot. It's a pickup of 9, and Crabtree, it looks like, will head to the sideline. Defensive starters coached by John Pagano. On the San Diego side, Joey Bosa, late start to the season, of course, with the holdout and the hamstring injury. Melvin Ingram, the headliner, with 6 sacks, leading that linebacking unit. And Trevor Williams has made a couple of starts as a nickel, makes his first true start outside Craig Mager out with a stinger. Andre Holmes has come in for Crabtree at the moment, 2nd and 1. One play to Washington, the former 5th-round pick out of Texas Tech. It's a pickup of 5 and another first down for the Raiders. Another look at the shot Solomon that Crabtree took.
Ball's going to be thrown a little bit high, but he goes up to get it. You can see he's going to take a hit on that left leg as 2 defenders collide with Michael Crabtree. He did go off under his own power, but looked a little bit shaken up.
We'll keep an eye on Crabtree. Holmes stays on the field at the moment. This is 1st and 10 from the 46. One play called again to Washington. This is the 2nd highest scoring offense, Solomon, in the league. They're tied with New Orleans entering this weekend's games. They've hit the 30-point mark 7 times, but they have struggled over the past couple of weeks, and obviously a big part of that has been Carr's injury.
Well, we know a lot about these skilled players, quarterback, Derek Carr, the receivers, Cooper and Crabtree, but this offensive line is much improved. And in that game against Kansas City, Kelechi Osemele at the guard position was out. He's back in the lineup today. The offensive line has to play well for the Raiders to play well.
This is Carr on 2nd and 8. Little miscommunication. Intended receiver was Jalen Richard, the undrafted rookie running back who's been such a spark plug for them. Kyle Emanuel was there on the coverage, and it will be 3rd and 8 coming up.
Oh, Derek Carr, we talked about it. He does have that dislocated pinky on his throwing hand and had one of his worst games of the season last week against Kansas City. So he said he spent this week just really going back to the basics, working on the footwork, the fundamentals, his follow-through, trying to improve his accuracy. Let's see what we get here on a critical 3rd down play.
Saw Crabtree come back onto the field, 3rd and 8 from just inside the 45. Carr has time and delivers. 1st down and more. That's Michael Rivera, the tight end. And he was wide open coming over the middle of the field. It's a pickup of 15 as Oakland moves the chains again.
Yeah, he's going to come across the field, and it's just going to be, once he clears to this side of the field, Derek Carr is surveying and going through his progression, and then he comes down and finds Rivera for the 1st down. And so he's able to throw the ball. You can see they got Joey Bosa hemmed in the form of that pass rush provided by the Chargers. If you can block him, then Derek Carr is going to have all day to throw.
Rivera, the former 6th-round pick, 4th year out of Tennessee, only his 16th catch of the season. Carr on 1st and 10. He's flushed out. He's going to run for it. First out of bounds after a good little pickup of about 6. We'll see where the officials spotted along the sideline, and we spent some time with Carr last night. I was actually a little concerned about shaking his hand, but he led right in with that.
He went
that
right
hand.
in. Yeah, he was the aggressor, right? I think he wanted to show us something. That was one of those nonverbals. He wanted to be able to show us that, hey, he's not fully protective of that hand. But notice, Spiro, every snap for the Raiders offense is with him in shotgun. He's not under center, which tells you he does have to protect that hand.
On 2nd and 4, one play called here. Murray trying to break tackles. Football comes loose, but it's out of bounds. So Raiders catch a break, and You touched on this last night. When you go exclusively from the shotgun, it makes things a little bit more difficult, Solomon, in terms of the running game, right?
It really does. It takes you out of your power run game, some of the play action stuff. Now, last week against Kansas City, Latavius Murray rushed for over 100 yards in that game, even though they went exclusively from the shotgun. And since injuring that finger, and of course Jack Del Rio talked about it, they've been 100% of their snaps on offense have been from the shotgun, and he has not gone under center, even though he did tell us that he went some under center in practice during the week.
Play clock down to 1 on 3rd and 8. Carr barely able to get it out. It's incomplete. Once again, looking in the direction of Crabtree. Very good coverage by the Chargers. Trevor Williams, again, making his first true start at corner. The undrafted rookie out of Penn State was there.
Well, with Carr getting his accuracy back and making throws like this, Michael Crabtree's got to make this catch. Now, the Raiders receivers surprised me to learn that these receivers lead the NFL in dropped passes. In fact, they led the league in dropped passes one season ago and doing it again in 2016.
45-yard field goal attempt for Sebastian Janikowski. This one is on target and perfect. So the 17-year vet gets the Raiders on the board. 7-3 Chargers on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Kay Jewelers. For 100 years, every kiss begins with K. And by Honda. Hurry in for great deals during Happy Honda Days.
Well, it sure looks like the black hole up in Oakland, but we are, in fact, at the Q here in San Diego. 7-3. Chargers in front. The Raiders have inundated Qualcomm Stadium with their fans.
I'm seeing a lot of silver and black. They have outnumbered the Chargers fans here in San Diego.
7-3. Phillip Rivers, that long touchdown to Travis Benjamin, the difference. Well, broadcasting legend Craig Sager passed away on Thursday after a long battle with leukemia at the age of 65. Sager spent more than 30 years with Turner Sports and was best known for his impeccable reporting, loud wardrobe, and report with the biggest stars in the NBA. Beginning in 2011, he joined the CBS Sports family in our coverage of the NCAA tournament and will be missed by the entire game of basketball. We send our condolences to his family as they mourn one of the best in the business, one of the great guys in the business. We all knew him. Solomon crossed paths with him. We know the funeral is on Tuesday in Atlanta, and our hearts go out to his family.
He always made you smile, didn't he?
Incredible guy. Just great remembrances all week from people in the business all around the country. Here's Rivers back to the air on first down. High pass, incomplete. Off the hands of Inman, who has quickly become Rivers' go-to target over the past couple of weeks. We know all the injuries that they've had to deal with, Solomon, in their wide receiving corps.
Watch Nate Allen, number 20. He rakes this ball away before Inman could truly haul it in. He went to the ground. We know he has to complete the process. Wasn't able to do it because of the defense provided by Nate Allen.
Chargers, of course, lost Keenan Allen to that ACL in week 1. Stevie Johnson went down early in camp. That has been a continuing theme with this club going back to the summer. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. This is Ronnie Hillman active for the first time today with the injury to Gordon. So first time he is putting on that Chargers uniform. Began the season, of course, with Denver. And it will be 3rd and long coming up. Tackle on the play by Justin Ellis.
Now, what we've seen from the Chargers offense, we've seen them sprinkle in good balance of run and pass. But when they go to pass it, they're throwing the ball down the field. They're going for yards by the chunks. As long as this offensive line can hold up against the pass rush of the Oakland Raiders and keep Khalil Mack at bay, they're going to be able to make plays down the field throwing the ball.
Play clock down to 2. Rivers from the gun. Not the most mobile of quarterbacks. Bruce Irvin giving chase for the Raiders, and it will be 4th down coming up.
Oh, just when you block Khalil Mack, Bruce Irving is going to come from the other side. He's going to be here, and watch him give chase to Phillip Rivers. One-on-one blocking, he's got to win because they had Mack double team, and as you mentioned, Spiro, Phillip Rivers has never been known to outrun any linebackers on a football field.
Lost at 3 on the play, so Irvin, who leads them in sacks in terms of their linebackers with 5. Big free agent signing from Seattle in the offseason. Making the play for the Raiders. Drew Kazer's punt fielded by Richard, and he takes a vicious shot. Corey Toomer was there, and now the flag comes in late. 53 yards on the punt, 8 on the return. And we'll see what the officials say here.
The Raiders have had their share of penalties where they lead the league coming into today's game.
Personal foul, face mask, kicking team number 56. Personal foul, grabbing the helmet opening, 15-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
So it is on Corey Toomer, who has been very good for them with the injuries that they have had at the linebacker position. Another look at the penalty. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Cialis.
7-3. As you see the beautiful sights. Not far from where we are here, temperatures in the 60s. We know some of our CBS colleagues are dealing with some freezing temperatures around the country today. It's a beautiful sunny skies here in San Diego. You see the pre-snap movement right side of the line, with the Raiders having excellent field position. That the first time saw him, and the Derek Carr has lined up under center since hurting that pinky. We'll see what the call is here from John Parry.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 99, 5-yard penalty, first down.
You go under center, you can go with a hard count. And when you go with a hard count, that's how you draw them offside. See, under center, see the little head bob right there, just enough to draw Joey Bosa into that neutral zone. And so now he goes back to the shotgun. So when Carr goes under center, if you're the Chargers defense, you ought to smell a rat.
So Carr back from the gun. This is Richard inside the 40. Finding some open real estate. First down after a pickup of 6 brought down by Denzel Perryman. Tomorrow on CBS, an Oprah Winfrey special event. The last interview and final farewell with First Lady Michelle Obama from inside the White House. Oprah and the First Lady tomorrow, 8/7 Central, only CBS.
With such good field position, this is where teams like to take a shot. If you're ever going to throw deep right on that plus 40-yard line, it's where you like to take a shot, get down the field to Amari Cooper.
One play called again. This is Richard hitting some open real estate inside the 20, all the way down to the San Diego 15-yard line, a 22-yard burst.
You don't have to go deep when you can check to a run play. Derek Carr does it here. Look, they don't have the numbers in the box, and see the blocking right there? They've got the advantage. Does the Raiders more blockers than there are defenders, and they're able to get the ball into the second level. Good-looking run play.
Richard, the undrafted rookie out of Southern Miss. It was a revelation for this team out of training camp, made the squad. And has been a much-needed weapon for them, especially on third down this season. They keep it on the ground to Murray, keeping that pile going. Football comes loose. Chargers say they have it, and they do. Early turnover by Oakland, and San Diego gets it back. Oakland had got 62 consecutive drives in the red zone without a turnover. That was the longest streak in the NFL, but it ends on a fumble right here. It's recovered by Kyle Emanuel. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, every turnover, of course, subject to automatic review. They're looking at this upstairs. The call in the field is a fumble recovered by San Diego, but did that ball come loose on him before Murray hit the turf?
Well, I don't think we have clear, indisputable evidence to the contrary. I don't think you can tell. Ball came out, didn't see if he was down.
After reviewing the play, the ruling in the field stands as a fumble recovered by San Diego, 1st and 10.
The ball did come out, but you can't tell clearly when it comes out. See, right now you can't tell. We know he's down now, but that ball's out. Clearly rolling around there.
San Diego defense, that's one thing they have done. Only team in the league with at least one takeaway in every game this season. One play called. Again, no Melvin Gordon if you've just joined us. Hip and knee injury sustained last week in the loss at Carolina. So Kenneth Farrow making his first career start, the undrafted rookie out of Houston, who has been very good for them.
Yeah, they need the run game, and without Melvin Gordon in the lineup, they're going to need Farrow to come in and make plays, and Ronnie Hillman as well. Balance for Phillip Rivers goes a long way. You have the play action passes, and he is going to push the ball down the field against this Raider secondary.
47-yard touchdown between Rivers and Travis Benjamin gave the Chargers the early lead. Good push by that Oakland front as Farrow tripped up, barely able to get to the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a loss of a yard as D'Amico Autry makes the tackle. And there has been a lot of jawing, as expected, early on between these two teams.
These two teams are active, there's no doubt. A lot of activity going on. You can see there's some blocking right there. DJ Fluker wrestling around with Ward. They're going to go to the echo of the whistle. Beyond the whistle and then some.
I wouldn't want to mess with DJ Fluker. 6'5", 340 pounds, a mountain of a man. As of course, this San Diego offensive line has struggled all season. Rivers goes to the check down. It's a Farrow breaking a tackle. Football comes loose again. It's out of bounds with 13 seconds on the clock. So they will mark that thing where it came out. Can't advance the football on a fumble.
Good play by Farrow, though. He's got to hold on to the ball, but his ability to make the defender miss in the open field and provide an outlet for Rivers to get rid of that ball was exceptional.
13 seconds left. It was Bruce Irvin who forced the football loose.
Now they're trying to determine the spot of the ball.
And now they'll place it right around the 18-yard line, and that clock will begin again. And that should take us to the end of the quarter. So the Rivers touchdown to Benjamin. And then the field goal. 7-3, end of one in San Diego. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Qualcomm Stadium on a sunny 60-degree day here in San Diego. 7-3 Chargers in front of the Raiders. Spiro Dita, Salman Wilcott, Scott Kaplan. Our entire CBS crew with you. 47-yard touchdown pass between Rivers to Benjamin. Then Sebastian Janikowski with a field goal. And that's where we sit. That last play found Farrow fumbling the football, Salman just shy of the first down marker, so the Chargers will punt.
Phillip Rivers has looked good in the first quarter, attacking this Raiders defense. Both quarterbacks has really looked good. One turnover by Latavius Murray really cost the Raiders when they were in scoring position.
This is Drew Kaiser, their 6th-round pick, rookie out of Texas A&M, who won the job from their longtime punter Mike Cyphers back at camp. Kaiser booting this one away. Fair catch signaled by Richard. And boy, that was a little bit shaky. Falls to the turf right around the 37-yard line. And that's where Derek Carr and the Raiders will have it. Well, tonight the Pope's Choir, the oldest and most heavenly of them all, in the most spectacular setting, only on 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. We know Kansas City fell today at home to Tennessee, last-second field goal. So at the moment, the Raiders back in front atop the division. That loss at Kansas City last week had them fall from first in the conference down to 5th, but right now back up in first place.
But they have to finish the deal, right? These Chargers, they fight, and they fight very hard. They're in a lot of close football games.
Carr again from the gun. Hands off to Murray. Raiders, of course, have not made the postseason since 2002, 13-plus years. Second longest postseason drought behind only Buffalo. Talked about how sweet a moment that would be with Jack Del Rio, of course, the East Bay native. Grew up a Raiders fan, and he knows they've still got work in front of him.
Well, he's been very upbeat. I think he's changed the culture inside of the building with the Oakland Raiders. It's a very positive football team with some very talented young players who have really developed and blossomed under Jack Del Rio.
See the average starting field position factor early in this game. Carr again goes to the air on second down. That is Washington. A little spark plug. First down on the catch and run. A pickup of 11. Finally forced out of bounds by the safety, Jaleel Adai.
And then if you're the Oakland Raiders, remember they came into today's game with the fewest turnovers, tied for the fewest of any team in the NFL. Murray on the fumble on that previous possession. If they can hold on to the football, this is an offense that can score a lot of points. 30 points is nothing for Derek Carr and the Raiders offense.
They're tied with New Orleans for the second highest scoring offense in the league at 27.5 points per game. Carr from the gun on 1st and 10. Pass play underneath, caught, but Richard is going nowhere. Denzel Perryman blows him up right after the catch. It's a loss of 5.
Oh, Denzel Perryman. He's got such great speed and locate his coverage immediately. Look at that. Even though Richard makes the catch, Perriman's right on top of him to make the tackle immediately.
Perryman, their leading tackler. Second year out of Miami, their former second-round pick. 2nd and 15. Carr slinging it, and that is caught. That's Crabtree. And he is tackled immediately. Jatavis Brown, 5th-round rookie out of Akron, their 3rd leading tackler, who has had to battle through a number of injuries there on the tackle.
A lot of short passes right now for the Raiders in this passing game. Looking to get Derek Carr in rhythm. Right now he's 6 for 8. 43 yards. He's yet to really push the ball down the field. It has surprised me some.
Carr on 3rd and 10, far side of the field. It's caught. Amari Cooper breaking free. Cooper, who has had some monstrous games against the Chargers. First down, a pickup of 28 inside Chargers territory.
Watch the timing on this route by Amari Cooper. He turns around. Look at the great coverage. I thought the ball may be intercepted by 26. Casey Hayward already has 7 on the season, but he's unable to get it. And look at Cooper. He's able to haul it in and create yards after the catch.
Cooper back in week 5 against the Chargers went for $138, had that 64-yard touchdown catch. And another game of 103 yards against San Diego last season as a rookie. Big play here to give him a 1st and 10. This is Richard again. Oakland's 2nd leading rusher on the season behind Murray. Tackled on the play by Brown. And Carr looking way more comfortable, Solomon, than we saw him certainly against Kansas City in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you like the timing on that route, but boy, that was really close. Casey Hayward has made a lot of quarterbacks pay for making those throws, but you're right, Spiro. Carr's looking really good. He's in sync and in tune with his receivers as they're knocking on the door looking for points.
There's 7 picks that Solomon mentioned from Hayward. Good for the league lead entering action this week. The run play called for Washington, the former 5th-round pick out of Texas Tech. Lunging forward, a pickup of 5 and a big 3rd and 6 coming up.
One of the most improved area on this football team, we talk about it, is this offensive line. Take a look. They're pulling the big guy, Kelechi Osemele, who gives this offense a nasty personality. There's the kick-out block on Joey Bosa, digging him out, creating a running lane for Washington.
You certainly missed that in Kansas City last week. 3rd and 6. Chargers coming. Carr over the middle, and that pass is intercepted.
There was anticipation. Just a great play defensively as he undercuts the play.
Travon Reed had his first career pick last week. He gets another for San Diego. Oh, we told you earlier, entering this game, Oakland had gotten 62 straight red zone trips without a turnover. Solomon, they've got 2 now in this first half.
Yeah, the turnovers have really derailed their offense. They're making plays, but turnovers on 2 consecutive possessions, one by Latavius Murray and that one by the quarterback, Derek Carr.
Oakland entering play this weekend, a plus 15 in the turnover department to lead the league. So I'm going to take us back to that interception by Trevon Reed.
Well, Trevon Reed is going to be covering Seth Roberts, and watch the route. It's going to come here, and he'll undercut the route. The ball's thrown rather late. Ball's got to come out faster, but he was waiting for Roberts to clear the area, and once he threw it, Reed was able to undercut it, take a great pursuit angle, and come away with the interception. It's just good, sound defense. And I know Carr was trying to be patient, allowing Roberts to come open. But Reed was able to close out the play.
The run play called by San Diego. Oakland's defense not fooled. James Cowser, the rookie undrafted man out of Southern Utah, who's had a couple of big plays for Oakland of late on the tackle.
There was nowhere to go with this one. Look at that. Raiders defense is improving as the season goes on. Their communication has improved, even though they've already given up one big play here in the first half.
Defense playing again without Stacey McGee, one of their key cogs up front. No Carl Joseph in the back end, the second straight game that he's out with that toe injury. Rivers from the gun on 3rd and 7 over the middle and through the hands of the intended receiver, Tyrell Williams, who's been so good for them this season. 3rd straight 3 and out for the Chargers.
Now this one was a real fastball from Phillip Rivers, but you'll see Williams. You're coming right at that ball, but it's coming at you. He's just got to look it in. Stop the point of the football, be able to haul it in. He would have had himself a first down.
So Drew Kaser suddenly has been busy, and he will punt from his own end zone. He's averaged about 48 yards on his first 2. This one will be fielded by Richard right around the 50. And a pickup of a couple on the return. 42 yards on the punt, 7-3. Chargers in front.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Live by Night from Warner Brothers Pictures, in theaters January 13th. State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. And by Walmart. Find gifts, groceries, and more this season.
Oh, you get the best of both worlds here in Southern California. Little ice skating, Hotel del Coronado, Coronado Island, just outside downtown San Diego. One of the great destination spots for people here in Southern California. 1st and 10, Raiders inside San Diego territory. One play called by Bill Musgrave here. So 2 early turnovers by Oakland Solomon have been the story as they try to fight their way through it.
High-scoring offense, but when you turn the ball over, it really does derail your opportunity to put points on the board. Latavius Murray on the fumble there. Then the interception. Derek Carr picked off by Trevon Reed. 2 turnovers by this Raiders offense on 2 consecutive plays. And you can see, came into the game plus 15 in terms of turnover differential. Best in the NFL, but not so far here in the first half.
Carr on 2nd and 10, playing from the shadows. Bosa giving chase, and he gets him from the back. Bosa, who made his debut back in Week 5 against the Raiders with 2 sacks, gets one here at Carr.
And it's all about effort and energy. Watch this right here. He's working on Austin Howard, and he'll just keep coming. See, he just keeps coming and keeps working. Carr thought he was going to escape and extend the play, but Bosa continued to hustle and came away with the sack.
See what he did against Oakland in that first meeting. He, of course, left the game with Carolina last week in the 2nd quarter, a neck injury. Had to check him for a concussion as a timeout is taken here by John Pagano and the Chargers defense. 3rd and 16 play coming up with under 7 left, first half on CBS. Week 15 continues with Sunday Night Football on NBC and Monday Night Football on ESPN. Then Week 16 kicks off with Thursday night on NBC, NFL Network, and streaming live on Twitter. 3rd and 16 Raiders from their own 46. Carr probes the defense on the run, trying to cut back to buy him some extra time. He'll go underneath to Murray here. Murray dances inside San Diego territory. He's right at the marker. You see multiple flags fly at the end of the play. Resourceful play by Murray. Well, we'll see if this one's coming back.
Carr did his best to stay alive and try to get his team beyond that first down marker, but penalty is going to bring this one back.
Illegal block in the back. Offense number 10. 10-yard penalty replay. 3rd down.
So McCoy takes the penalty as we take another look.
There's Seth Roberts. He blocked in the back. It looks like Murray was going to be close to getting this first down. Carr escapes to his right. He can't find anyone open. Good coverage by that Chargers secondary downfield. As he comes back, Murray's able to escape out of the backfield, and there's the block in the back right there. And then there's your flag. He hit Jaleel Adai, hit Seth Roberts in the back.
Now, we asked Del Rio about the penalties, and he said, look, we're a disciplined team. We're working through this. There's certainly been a theme with this team, not only this season, but recent memory. There's a critical call here. We'll take that play off the board. 3rd and 15, they'll call it. From the 47. Carr fields the low snap. Little sidearm delivery. This is Richard out of the backfield. Inside the 45, they needed the 38 of San Diego, so a pickup of 10. And it will be 4th down. It was Emmanuel and Brown combining on the tackle.
I'll tell you what, though, this Chargers team, they play hard for Mike McCoy. You know, you look at their record at 5-8. We talked about them being in a lot of close games. And he talked about it. He says, hey, it's their job to come out and play hard, play tough, and play together. That's the mantra for this football team. And despite their record, they want to try to win their final 3 regular season games and close it out at 8-8.
First time we've seen Marquette King, who's drawn the ire of Del Rio of late with sportsmanlike penalties in each of the last 2 games. This one takes a San Diego bounce into the end zone. So 43 yards on the punt. Only the 5th touchback for King in 66 punts this season.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light. Strike gold, and you could win Super Bowl tickets for life. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Oh, this has been one of the great rivalries in the NFL over the years. Oakland, the leader in the all-time series, and today Oakland can sweep San Diego in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 2000 and 2001. And of course, all the uncertainty surrounding both of these franchises, with their possible relocations, was adding another little wrinkle to this storied rivalry. Rivers to Inman for the reception, and now the officials say incomplete. So Inman running out of real estate.
Yeah, let's see. 1 foot down. He couldn't get that 2nd foot down. Looked like the toe came in, but the back heel of that 2nd foot out of bounds. And after going for a touchdown, 8 plays, 91 yards on that first possession, they've gone 3 and out on the last 3 possessions. So Rivers in the offense, they need to get it going.
Rivers had that 47-yard touchdown to Benjamin, and nothing since. Rivers on 2nd and 10, back to the air. That pass too high and incomplete. Jihad Ward was applying the pressure as Rivers looking in the direction of Antonio Gates.
You know, and Ken Norton's defense has gotten better as we take a look at an injury on the field. It's like one of the offensive linemen, King Dunlap, down for the San Diego Chargers. Welcome back. Take a look at the right knee. This is going to be King Dunlap, and his own guy, DJ Fluker, who's pulling this way, is going to collide into that right knee that's planted by King Dunlap. And look at that. That's got to hurt, not just a little, but a lot. DJ Fluker goes 340 pounds running into the knee of King Dunlap.
This is an offensive line that had to deal with a lot of injuries last season. This year they've been relatively healthy, but they have struggled nonetheless. And now the obvious concern on Dunlap, Chris Hairston, their 50-year backup, comes onto the field in his place. This is Rivers on 3rd and 10, throws a dart, and that pass is caught just outside the 30, going to old reliable Antonio Gates. First down, San Diego, a pickup of a dozen.
We already saw Hunter Henry, the rookie tight end, make a catch, but look at this route in front of Sean Smith by Antonio Gates. Good timing and anticipation from Phillip Rivers. Cut it loose before Gates had come out of his break, but when he turned around, the ball was perfectly thrown.
Gates, the future Hall of Famer, gets a breather here. 1st and 10, just outside the Chargers 30. Ronnie Hillman, again active for San Diego for the first time since signing. Takes the give here. Little juke move. Crosses the 35, and a good-looking run by Hillman. Claimed off waivers in late November from Minnesota. 5 games this season with the Vikings, a pickup of 8.
But he had played in Denver, and Mike McCoy was the offense coordinator there. You saw in that zone run play, he's got a real good sense of where the run lanes are. Was able to find that whole back door as he cut it all the way back for a significant gain.
Hillman, a member of that Denver Super Bowl champion last season. Former collegiate star at San Diego State. Rivers goes play action on 2nd and short. That pass incomplete. And once again, Rivers and Williams unable to connect. It was a tough catch to make, diving as you see him kind of coming through the shadows.
Well, he's going to come here. River throws him wide open. He's got to make this catch. And yeah, it's out in front of him, but he's got to be able to haul that one in. It was well thrown by Phillip Rivers. Sean Smith in coverage, but they set it up really well with play action. They run Williams across the field and away from coverage, and the ball was well thrown from Phillip Rivers.
Solomon, how difficult is it to track that ball as it kind of comes through the sun and then through the shadows?
You can catch it. Many times receivers don't even see the ball thrown from the quarterback. As you turn around, the ball is already in the air.
Rivers on 3rd and 2. They go underneath to the tight end. That's Henry again. This kid's so talented. They took him in the 2nd round, 35th overall, a first down play. And now flag comes in right around the 46. It was a pickup of 10.
I want to go back in a moment to talk about the dropped pass from Terrell Williams, because I think you said, hey, it came from the sun to the shade. In the NFL, we don't grade on a curve. You know that, right? These are pro players.
These guys.
They're pro players. They've been doing it for quite some time. And he'll hear that from the coaches on Monday.
Offensive pass interference as number 54 initiated the contact. Rule in the field's a completed catch, first down.
Every Monday when you go in and you're grading the tape, what do you think the coaches are telling him right now? Oh, you know what? It's okay. It was from the sun to the light. I get it. In the shadows. No, this is the NFL. We expect you to make those plays. And Phillip Rivers knows it, and Williams knows it as well.
There's Dunlap walking towards the San Diego locker room on his own power. We'll try to get an update as quickly as we can. This is Hillman breaking free inside Oakland territory down to the 34-yard line. A pickup of 17 and a couple of good-looking runs by Hillman.
Outside zone play. Watch the right tackle, Barksdale. Kick out on Khalil Mack. This one's easy. On top of that secondary immediately. Good block on the edges. And if you're Khalil Mack, you've got to be able to set that edge, slam the door shut, and then hope the linebacker can field.
Hillman, the former 3rd-round pick of the Broncos back in 2012, played, of course, for McCoy there, as Solomon pointed out. His best season as a pro last year, just under 1,000 yards from scrimmage, and San Diego obviously felt like they could help him here with some of the injuries that they've had.
Well, Ronnie Hillman, I think, is a huge addition to this offense for Mike McCoy. He knows the player well. He knows the player can fit into the system. He was inactive last week when Melvin Gordon went down against the Carolina Panthers, but certainly going to be available to play along with Farrell.
The hope is that Gordon will be able to return. He is, of course, only 3 yards away from 1,000 yards in what has been a terrific bounce-back season for him individually. 2nd and 7. Rivers just able to get it out, going end zone, and it is incomplete. Williams was blanketed by that Oakland secondary. Emerson, the man who got his hand on the football, and the pressure coming from Khalil Mack. 7-3 San Diego. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 7-3 San Diego in front of the Oakland Raiders. Raiders in a win, and they are into the postseason scenario. First time that would happen since 2002. Critical 3rd and 7 here. Rivers working from the gun from the Raiders 31. Rivers little sidearm delivery. Benjamin first down on the catch and run. Run out of bounds inside the 24-yard line. A pickup of 9 as Benjamin running that crossing route.
Yeah, he comes across the formation. Look at that sidearm throw from Rivers as Khalil Mack was closing in, but the speed of Travis Benjamin has really been a critical problem for this Raiders defense today. You can see Mack was close, but not there in time.
Benjamin, the former 4th-round pick of the Cleveland Browns in 2012. Last year, his best year as a pro, just under 1,000 yards receiving. And then parlayed that into the big free agent contract with the Chargers at right around $24 million.
This is where they'll work one of the tight ends to the left side of the formation. Either be Henry or Gates.
Chargers mathematically eliminated from postseason contention with the Miami win yesterday, trying to play the role of spoilers here against their longtime division rivals. And finally, Rivers and Williams are able to connect. It is a minimal gain of 5, and they'll set up a 2nd down coming up. A reminder to keep it here. The Verizon Halftime Report comes your way. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower standing by with all the latest scores and highlights. All to come on the Verizon Halftime Report.
And normally, if they can get Gates matched up with a linebacker or safety, they'll run that corner route if he's lined up tight to the formation. Right now, he's not in there, so they'll have to find someone else to go to in this critical moment.
Phillip Rivers, 9 of 16 for $123 and a touchdown. 2nd and 5 pass towards the end zone in the direction of Hunter Henry, the rookie tight end. Incomplete on the play. And good coverage applied by Nate Allen, making a 2nd straight start for the injured rookie Carl Joseph.
Allen's been really good, and Carl Joseph, obviously they miss him, but Allen is a veteran player of the National Football League. 7 years out of South Florida. Hunter Henry is one of those players, 2nd-round pick out of Arkansas at the tight end position. When you match him up with Gates, both guys can give defense problems. Gates is now back in.
Henry, 6 touchdowns, tied for the most among tight ends in the league this season. Rivers on 3rd and 5. Here come the Raiders on the blitz. Rivers escapes somehow and is able to get rid of the football. You see Del Rio asking for the flag. No flags yet. It was Bruce Irvin, the man who had him Solomon around the ankles for an instant.
He was looking for Gates, and then he's trying to come back to this side to Farrell, but the ball is thrown so high. You can see Del Rio said, oh, that's going to be...
There's no foul for intentional grounding. There was an eligible receiver within the area.
That's right.
4th down.
I know Jack Del Rio didn't see it that way, but Farrell was to that side, even though the ball was thrown well over his head and out of bounds.
Del Rio today coaching against a man he knows very well, Mike McCoy. Coached together 2 different times on staffs headed by John Fox, first in Carolina and then in Denver. A lot of respect and admiration between those two. As Mike McCoy will send out his kicker.
And both were coordinators, one on offense, Mike McCoy, and Del Rio was the defense coordinator. Went against one another every day in practice.
35-yard attempt by Josh Lambo, the second-year kicker out of Texas A&M. Good snap, good hold, and this kick is good. So San Diego tacks on 3 and get their lead back to 7. A break, back to San Diego in 30 on CBS. NFL on CBS is now CBS All Access. Stream your local games live. Visit cbs.com/NFL now to try it for free. Spiro Dedes, Solomon Wilcott, Scott Kaplan, rest of our CBS crew from Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. Solomon, a look at the Chargers' first half possessions.
Well, Phillip Rivers got it going. The offense went ice cold for 3 consecutive possessions where they went 3 and out. But on that particular drive, I thought they had good balance between the run, using Ronnie Hillman to catch it out of the backfield and also to run the football. And then Phillip Rivers did the rest with his arm.
It's a Chargers team that has had to work through so many injuries, devastating losses this season. As Richard takes a knee, and Carr will have it from the 25. All the talk about Carr and that right pinky finger on his throwing hand. What have you seen so far, Solomon, from the 2 quarterbacks?
Well, he just really, I think, made a bad decision, threw the ball late on the interception. He's throwing the ball very well. He does have the accuracy in terms of his ability to make plays, but the offense and the turnovers, that's where they really have been hurt. Now they have to stay out of 3rd and long. I thought the offense has looked good under Derek Carr. They just got to protect the football.
Little delayed handoff play to Murray, spinning. Nifty run by Murray, trips ahead to the 35-yard line, showing some of his abilities as a runner, a pickup of 9. Finally tackled by the rookie linebacker, Jatavis Brown.
And this is enough time for this offense to get something going and set up Sebastian Janikowski for a field goal before halftime.
This is Murray breaking free. Murray still on his feet inside the San Diego 35-yard line. Finally tackled by Larry, but not before he burns him for 33.
Well, anytime you can do this and run the football with Murray, goes a long way in setting up the offense to put points on the board.
Timeout taken by Oakland, back in 30 seconds. Well, from right here, it would be about a 50-yard field goal for Sebastian Janikowski. He's made 53 kicks from 50-plus, most ever, Solomon, in league history. Raiders with 2 timeouts left, 56 seconds to play. Down 7. Derek Carr, if you've just joined us, 9 of 12, 92 yards, and an interception thrown. 1 play called. Washington breaking tackles. Brought down just shy of the 20. A pickup of a dozen. Clock running. Now timeout taken. Adrian Phillips on the tackle as Oakland will burn their second.
Latavius Murray. This is a 33. Oh, this is the previous play by Washington, who's looked really good. They're getting it done on the ground on this possession. In Latavius Murray, here's the 33-yarder right up the gut. It's just a good check to the run play by Derek Carr. And Murray making good use of the curry, protecting the football.
Raiders have run for 54 yards on this drive alone. 47 seconds left down to their final timeout. Where's Carr looking to here, Solomon, considering the time and the timeout situation?
Obviously, you're going to read the defense and allow the defense to dictate where you want to go with the football. If you can get a one-on-one opportunity with Amari Cooper, I think you've got to go for him. But they have talented receivers where you look for the best matchup.
Well, it's felt like we've been in Oakland at times today. A lot of Raiders fans here. Carr on first down, crossing route. That pass broken up and incomplete. Intended for the running back, Washington, broken up by this kid Brown, who has got a bright future in front of him if he could just stay healthy. Former 5th-round pick out of Akron, has got all kinds of skills.
You see pressure coming in the face of Carr. Good coverage by Brown on that play. Remember, the Raiders do have 1 timeout, so they can throw the ball over the middle of the field. If they don't get it into the end zone, they're going to have to use that timeout.
Jalen Richard back onto the field, flanks Carr here on 2nd and 10. Carr has time, delivers, it's bobbled and caught. That's Richard. Brought down right around the 17-yard line, maybe the 18. We'll see where the officials spot it. Square and Brown on the tackle.
He's going to take one right there. Wow. Squared him up, didn't he? And they have to use that timeout because he was not able to get out of bounds.
So Jack Del Rio burning his third and final timeout. Another reminder, the Verizon halftime report comes your way next. JB and the guys standing by in New York. Scores and highlights all to come on the Verizon halftime report. Notable scores that Raiders fans here were keeping tabs on before this one started. Kansas City losing at home to Tennessee, so the Raiders back in first place in the West. A win today by Oakland, and they are into the playoffs for the first time since '02. Big 3rd and 7 coming up.
Big 3rd and 7. What do you do if you're the offense coordinator, Bill Musgrave? This is where Derek Carr, he does have the offense in his hands. It's really about reading the defense, deciding where's the best matchup. You see that bunch formation up top. Seth Roberts has had some opportunities to make some catches over the middle of the field.
6th play of the drive. Carr over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Walford, and now the flag comes in at the end of the play. It was Lowry on the coverage. Again, our referee, if you've just joined us, is John Parry.
Prior to the pass being thrown, holding, defense. Number 20, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's on Lowry.
Here's Walford right here. Carr's going to be looking for him, but watch number 20, Lowry, has his hands outside, holding and grabbing beyond that 5-yard area where they allow you to make contact with the receiver, but then you have to let him go. Got to play coverage.
Well, now the interesting thing, Solomon, they're out of timeout, so they have to be careful. 27 seconds left. And that obviously will dictate the play calls here the rest of the way. Carr going end zone. It is Crabtree who made the catch. And the officials say incomplete.
Nice catch by Crabtree, but he's not able to come down in bounds. But
now they're still
they're
talking
having
about
a conversation. Yeah.
Out of our view. There they are.
But Crabtree's not protesting. He seemed to accept the call by the officials. They're having some kind of discussion.
Well, Carr has said Crabtree has the best hands of any receiver in traffic that he's ever seen.
There's the catch. Oh, I think both feet are down. Look at that. Both feet are down, and that ball's possessed by Crabtree. This is a great catch. It looked like that left heel hit the chalk. Trevor
Previous
Rubin.
play is going to be reviewed.
This is a great catch by Michael Crabtree.
So they will take a look at it upstairs, and Solomon, you're right, at least from that first vantage point, it appeared as though he had that left foot just inbounds. But this is about as close as it gets.
There's one, there's two. Now take a look at that heel. I see blue. Is that clear and indisputable? That's going to be close. But he got both feet in bounds, but was that left heel in the chalk? The initial call was ruled incomplete. So now you need clear, indisputable evidence to turn it over, to overturn it and say it was a touchdown. Let's take a look at it from this angle. Still a great catch, right foot down, clearly in bounds. That left foot, that one's going to be close.
Again, it has to be conclusive for
And
the
there you see
replay officials to overturn the call.
Well, there you see the officials waving it off, where they ruled it to be an incompletion. That toe was down before the heel was out of bounds. What if we called it like that?
Well, Crabtree, who had the go-ahead touchdown in the first meeting between these two teams on a 4th down play back in Week 5. Raiders fans looking at the replay here inside the stadium. They all think it's a touchdown. But John Parry still under the hood.
After reviewing the play, the right foot was down with clear possession. Then the left foot was down with a slice of blue between the heel and out of bounds. Touchdown.
Incredible play by Crabtree is rewarded, and Oakland on the verge of tying this game.
And the crowd erupts here. Didn't Derek Carr tell us last night that this is like a home game? That we see more silver and black here? The crowd erupted because this is a pro-Raider crowd here in San Diego.
Mike McCoy actually had to pump in artificial crowd noise in practice this week to prepare. Something you just never see for a team getting ready for a home game. But such is the case in this wild rivalry between these two. Point after from Janikowski is good. So a 29-yard touchdown catch by Michael Crabtree. His 8th of the season. That leads the Raiders. And we are all tied at 10. Make it a 13-yard touchdown catch, I beg your pardon. So 6 plays, 75 yards in just over a minute.
A gutsy drive really put together by the running game for the Oakland Raiders. Started with Latavius Murray gashing the Chargers defense up the middle for that 33-yard run. And then a nice touchdown toss from Carr to talented Michael Crabtree. Very acrobatic, getting both feet down for his head coach, Jack Del Rio.
25th touchdown pass thrown by Carr. And what has been a terrific season for him, trying to fight his way through this finger injury, of course. But you think about just how far he's come as you see the statistical leaders saw him a couple of years ago. Carr losing the first 10 games of his rookie season. And now to be standing on the cusp of being the quarterback that could potentially lead this franchise back into the playoffs for the first time in 2002, something that he has been relishing of late.
Well, he's tremendous in terms of his leadership on this football team, and he's a very hard worker.
Short kick fielded by Henry, the tight end. He's run out of bounds right around the 30-yard line, so 18 seconds to play. Again, the Raiders back in first place in the division by way of that Chiefs loss to Tennessee. Oakland now at 10-3. And a win today, and they are in to the playoffs.
What did Del Rio tell us? He said, hey, his game plan today was to get the lead and stay on top. Well, they started off in a hole by way of those 2 turnovers here in the first half, but to be able to get a touchdown on that final possession to end the half, he's got to really be encouraged going in at halftime.
Chargers will keep it on the ground. This is Farrow. And that should take us to the end of the first half. A pickup of 5. So the Raiders able to come back, tie this game on the Crabtree touchdown from 13 yards out. And Oakland will have the football to begin the second half. Phillip Rivers, 9 of 18, $123 in the early touchdown. Derek Carr, 11 for 15 for 108, a touchdown and a pick. We go downstairs to Scott Kaplan.
Coach, prior to that 2-minute offensive series, the offense didn't look particularly sharp. What is your assessment of the way it played in the first half?
No, I think they do look sharp. We just can't turn it over in the red zone. You know, we had opportunities. We're moving the ball pretty well, and we turned it over a couple of times in the red zone. That's the difference between us feeling really good about it and knowing that we're doing some good things, but we have to protect the ball.
Given the magnitude of this game and with Kansas City losing earlier to Tennessee, what will the message be here in the second half to finish this game?
Well, the message is the same. We're going to do the best we can do. We're going to come in. We're going to compete. We're going to give them 60 minutes. We're prepared to strain. We know they're a good team, and we're prepared to strain for 60, and we'll stack up these games and see how it works at the end.
Coach, thank you. Good luck to you. Appreciate it.
All right, so halftime here at the Q, all tied at 10. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Qualcomm Stadium, San Diego, just about ready for the start of the third quarter. Raiders and the Chargers all tied at 10. As we welcome you back to the NFL on CBS, Spiro Dedes and Solomon Wilcots with you. We expected it to be physical and intense. Chargers jump out to the early lead, but Derek Carr able to lead them down and tie the game late.
Yeah, and I think Tony Gonzalez did a really good job at our NFL studios talking about the Raiders and their ability to run the ball in the first half. But really, it was Phillip Rivers getting his offense off to a great start. 47-yard touchdown toss to Travis Benjamin to get the Chargers on the scoreboard to begin this game. Latavius Murray, who has run the ball well in this game, had the fumble on the Raiders' second possession of the game, and then the interception from Carr. He gets picked off there on their third possession, but then Crabtree is able to get the touchdown before we go in at halftime. This is a great catch, 13 yards and a touchdown. There's the blade of bluegrass between his heel and the out-of-bounds marker. And both quarterbacks acquitted themselves very well in the first half of this game. And I do believe Derek Carr is throwing the ball very well. Did have the one interception. Of course, Phillip Rivers came out red hot, was able to get his team on the scoreboard with that first possession, and then was able to get a field goal as well. So both teams playing well so far.
So you can follow your favorite team all season long. Visit itunes.com/NFL. Qualcomm Stadium here in Mission Valley, just outside San Diego. Spiro Dedes, Solomon Wilcott, Scott Kaplan, rest of our CBS crew. Ryan Galvin, our producer. Andy Goldberg, our director, as that kick goes out of bounds, and that'll summon the flag.
Kickoff out of bounds, kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 40-yard line by rule. First down.
So Lambeau makes the mistake, and we go downstairs to Scott Kaplan.
Spiro, I talked to Mike McCoy, the Chargers coach, coming out at half. He said we cannot allow the Raiders to run the ball down our throats the way they did at the end of the first half. He said we also can't allow them to throw the fade. He said that's the only thing they do down there. As for King Dunlap, still no report on the Chargers starting left tackle from the Chargers PR staff. However, what I can tell you is he's on the field, he's in uniform, and he did go through second half warm-ups.
All right, Scott, thanks. As they'll continue to try to keep their fingers crossed on Dunlap. But Oakland, just to get back to that point that McCoy made to Scott, ran for 54 yards on that last possession, Solomon alone. We'll see if that carries over into the second half. What about some adjustments?
Well, they have to continue to run the football as well as they did in the first half. More importantly, protect the football, and they'll win the game. Those two turnovers in the first half is the only thing that stopped their offense. And then for the Chargers, they got to keep Khalil Mack away from Phillip Rivers. Khalil Mack gets better as the game goes on, particularly in the second half, and he can wreck your game in a hurry.
Oakland, if you've just joined us, back in first place in the AFC West after Kansas City fell today at home to Tennessee in a game that went right down to the end on a last-second field goal by Ryan Suckup. Here's Carr. Goes to the airways on 2nd and 10. That catch made by Crabtree. Able to stay in bounds. Third down coming up. It's a pickup of 6 as we take a glance at their first half possessions.
Yeah, both teams scored on their first possession of the game. The Raiders had to settle for the field goal. But look at the fumble, then the interception, as they stopped themselves essentially by turning the football over. They did have to punt, but then they were able to take that 5th possession of the game and go in for a touchdown to tie it up at the half.
Well, Derek Carr coming in off the worst statistical game of certainly the season and maybe of his career in that loss in Kansas City. He certainly looked better today. This crossing route is made, and the catch by Clive Walford, the tight end and former third-round pick out of Miami. 13 yards and a Raiders first down.
Walford's doing a really good job of coming across the formation, and watch the vision of Carr. He worked on his footwork, was able to really address some of the details, and he felt that would lead to him improving his accuracy. And here you can see real balance, and he's back to being Derek Carr.
And the tight ends have been much more prominent of late in this offense. Walford and Rivera have really started to kind of make their imprint felt over the past couple of weeks. Flags flying from every direction. Appeared to be a false start against the Raiders.
False start. Offense number 61. 5-yard penalty. First up.
It's their center, Rodney Hudson, 60th man out of Florida State, and former Kansas City Chief. Another penalty again. This is the most penalized team in the NFL. Had 122 entering this game.
Well, they have a tendency to stop themselves. Fortunate for the Raiders, they've been able to overcome many of these penalties and still able to win games because they score a lot of points, and normally they don't turn the football over.
1st and 15 after the penalty. Carr slinging it, and it is caught. Andre, San Diego 25. First down pickup of 20. They move the chains.
They're starting to attack down the middle of the field against these Chargers, and right now the Chargers can't get a pass rush on Carr. You can see Holmes comes wide open over the middle of the field for an easy throw from Derek Carr, but the protection is held up. They're not able to get to him, and that's how they're able to get open down the field. Carr has plenty of time to survey the field and throw the football.
Holmes, the 8th different Raider to make a catch in this game. Only his 11th reception on the season. 1st and 10 from the San Diego 23. One play. This is Murray trying to break tackles. He's such an elusive runner, Solomon. With that build, he's so slippery. 6'3", about 230. And what a player this kid's become. A former 6th-round pick in his 4th season in the NFL.
Oh, he's doing a good job. Big body guy at 6'3", 225 pounds. He does have to protect that football, but 12 rushing touchdowns. Having one heck of a season for the Raiders.
Last season, his first full campaign as a full-time starter. Rushed for 1,000 yards. First Raider running back to do that since Darren McFadden back in 2010. On 2nd and 7, underneath. This is Roberts trying to take on tacklers. He'll get close to the 15-yard line. A pickup of 5. And that'll set up a 3rd and short coming up with this game all tied at 10.
We talk about this offense achieving the balance between the run and the pass. Just that kind of play right there over to Seth Roberts kind of works like a running play. Little bubble screen. They expect him to be able to make the first guy miss and hit the first down marker. See what they dial up here on what looks like 3rd and 2.
Had the 2 red zone turnovers early in the game. And then, of course, the Crabtree touchdown late in the first half. 3rd and 2. That pass deflected, and boy, nearly picked. It was Melvin Ingram who got his hands on it. Big defensive play for Mike McCoy and the Chargers.
Yeah, Ingram jumped in that passing lane. Carr didn't see him, and he nearly had himself an interception. Critical play. That's one that if Ingram can hold on to it, Chargers have made themselves a big play.
Well, Ingram's been a playmaker for them. Former 1st-round pick out of South Carolina. And Sebastian Janikowski back onto the field. Hit earlier from 45. This one from 33. And Janikowski, who's been doing it for 17 years, puts the Raiders in front. 33-yard field goal by Sebastian Janikowski as the Oakland Raiders take their first lead of the afternoon, 13-10, as we welcome you back to Qualcomm Stadium here in San Diego. Spiro Dedes, Solomon Wilcott, Scott Kaplan, and the rest of our CBS crew. This one will be played by Isaiah Burse across the 20, close to the 24-yard line, a return of 22 yards. Let's take a look at the up-to-the-minute AFC playoff picture. This is where we sit at the moment. Oakland back atop the division. So among the division leaders, we know that New England right now is up in Denver as that game now has moved to the second half. And Kansas City back into a wild card position.
Yeah, but that AFC West division, it's a tough one. You got 3 teams knocking on the door trying to win the division and get into the playoffs.
And keep in mind the Chiefs do own the tiebreaker from Oakland, so the Raiders would have to finish with a better record to win the West. So the updated score from Denver. Rivers to the air on 1st down. Has his man wide open. That's Inman. 1st down and more, close to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 22 on the toss by Rivers.
They were max protection there for Phillip Rivers, and watch Inman. He's working against Sean Smith, turns him around. Gets wide open, is able to make that catch. And they wanted to keep Rivers standing upright. There's Khalil Mack, but they kept everyone in to protect for Rivers and only ran 2 receivers down the field. Inman was one of them.
Dontrell Inman, who began the season really as a third or fourth wide receiver, so many injuries that they have had. And he has been thrust into a more prominent role. Run play here. That's Kenneth Farrow, again making his first career start. Think about the frustration, Solomon, for Philip Rivers. 9-21 over his last 30 starts, and the injuries to keep players in this offense that he has had to fight his way through has just been endless.
A lot of young players around him. Remember his first few years here, his first 6 years on the team. They went to the playoffs in 5 of those 6 years and have not been as fortunate in the last 6 or 7 seasons. Having a lot of young players around him and a lot of players in and out of the lineup.
On 2nd and 4, they'll keep it on the ground. This is Hillman, and he is stood up right at the line of scrimmage by Malcolm Smith. Well, these are the injuries that we've been talking about, and they started, Solomon, early.
Well, they certainly have. And Keenan Allen, one of the talented receivers, Danny Woodhead, Brandon Oliver, both now gone, and defensive backs and linebackers, Jerry Atachu, one of the talented players also. I don't know how much more Mike McCoy can take. 16 players on injured reserve, second most of any team in the NFL.
Play clock down to 2 on 3rd and 4. Rivers throwing a dart, and it is caught. First down and more. Dontrell Inman with a pickup of 6.
Right now, they're able to protect Philip Rivers, and Rivers is getting into rhythm and in sync with his receivers. These in-breaking routes, we saw him on the out cut against Sean Smith to get the first down, and now this is a slant route. He picks up another first down. Doing a good job of keeping him clean and keeping Khalil Mack away from Philip Rivers.
Haven't heard yet from Mack in this game. He's got that consecutive games played with a sack at 8, tying a franchise record. Underneath pass, Rivers to Williams. Getting downhill, and he's run for another Chargers first down.
You know what? Philip Rivers said he tells his tackles, hey, run them by me. You got to stay stout in the middle and allow him to step up in the pocket. See how he steps up? They run Khalil Mack by him. He's able to climb the pocket. And watch how Mack comes underneath, and they just run him right by him. And Rivers expects to be able to step up in the pocket with vision down the field to complete the pass.
So Rivers now 12 of 21 for 161 yards and a touchdown. Trying to get San Diego back on the board. Rivers fakes the handoff. He's going to throw it, and he has Inman again. Inside the 10 and brought down. It'll be 1st and goal. TJ Carey perhaps saving a touchdown.
Well, once he's able to come across the middle of the field, then he comes back out. TJ Carey getting beat badly on a route from Inman. Dontrell Inman's having his way with his secondary for the Oakland Raiders. Getting open, and again, they're keeping Khalil Mack away from Rivers, and when Rivers has this kind of time, he's going to pick you apart.
Pickup of 26 by Inman. Mike McCoy called Mr. Reliable, does everything right. And he has become a player for Philip Rivers in this offense. Rivers on 1st and goal, throwing end zone. It is caught for the San Diego touchdown. It's Hunter Henry. 7th touchdown catch of the season for the rookie 2nd-round pick out of Arkansas.
You have a big body like Hunter Henry, 6'5", 250 pounds. And you can just block out the defensive back. And watch, he's going to get inside here and then watch this throw from Rivers. So once he's able to get inside of Sean Smith, you can't keep him away from the football. No pressure from Khalil Mack. King Dunlap back in the game and keeping Mack away from the quarterback. And they designed a quick throw from Mike McCoy in this offense. Right now, Rivers is having his way with the Raiders.
So Rivers drives him 7 plays, 77 yards in just over 4.5 minutes. Hunter Henry, who ended the day tied for the league lead in touchdown catches, builds on that number. And this point after is no good by Lambeau. And that has been really an epidemic this season with these place kickers. But Hunter Henry able to get San Diego back in front in a 3-point game on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Hyundai, official sponsor of the NFL. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Beautiful 60-degree December day in San Diego. 17-13 Chargers in front. 16-13, I beg your pardon. You see the scoring summary, and Philip Rivers Solomon on that drive, perfect, 5 for 5, 71 yards, but he botched extra point on the play. There was a good snap, good hold by Kaiser, but Josh Lambo just missed it.
Yeah, not a good kick at all. Wasn't even close.
And Derek Carr and company will take it from the 25 when we come back. 3-point San Diego lead on CBS. NFL fans, order your holiday gifts from NFLshop.com today and get free shipping at the official store of the NFL, NFLshop.com. I don't believe that item is for sale. Looks like a custom item. A lot of creativity and a lot of Raider fans here at the Q today, as expected for the Raiders and the Chargers. Derek Carr and company back on the field, down 3 after the Philip Rivers touchdown-led drive down the field and the mixed extra point. Samu, we know that the field is chewed up. Footing has been an issue. Didn't appear to be the case on that botched point after a moment ago by Lambo, but you can see that field is really chewed up.
Yeah, you take a look at it. We were talking about it looking like some of the golf courses you and I have played on our world travels. But yeah, that doesn't look good at all. And if you're a player, that could be a problem.
And we know most of the courses you play on aren't that chewed up. 2nd and 7. Carr will work from the gun from just inside the 30. Goes underneath. This is Richard. Run out of bounds very close to a first down by Trevor Williams. Let's go downstairs to Scott.
Spiro, you and Solomon are talking about how chewed up this natural grass surface is. Well, there was quite a bit of rain here in San Diego Thursday. They did put down a tarp, but as I walked it before the game, it's very moist, it's very loose, and as you can see, it seems as though each time a player goes to try and plant to make a cut, they can't seem to keep their footing.
Yeah, Jalen Richards just slipped on that play when he was in motion and trying to come back.
See all the confusion with the San Diego defense here as Carr quickly got them to the line of scrimmage. So the Chargers have to burn a timeout with 3rd and 1 play coming up and just under 5 minutes left in the quarter.
Well, take a look at Jalen Richards right there. He's going to go in motion and watch him just in that little move right there. There's a slip. So the footing is anything but sure and tight down on that football field. We did get some rain here in the San Diego area on Friday. Not sure if the field was covered, but it was beautiful all day today, and it's certainly beautiful yesterday. Should have had time to dry out, but you can see on the edges there.
And now Solomon, a big 3rd and 1 play coming up here. Again, Oakland in a scenario in which they can clinch a postseason berth with a win. Right now down 3. Murray, the lone setback, takes the give from Carr, needs the 35, and he didn't get it. At least not initially, as San Diego defensive front able to hold, and the officials signaling 4th down.
They've got 9 defenders through the Chargers at the line of scrimmage, in the box, to cover just about every running lane that Latavius Murray. Look at the 9 defenders packed in at the line of scrimmage. Corey Toomer, number 56, initially made the stop.
Toomer, who played 10 games for the Raiders and Jack Del Rio last season, spent some time on their practice squad prior to signing with San Diego in late September, and he has been a critical piece for this defense. since that point. See the injured San Diego Charger. Hard to see from our vantage point just who they're looking at. And now it looks it appears to be Denzel Perryman, and it is. Perryman, one of the bright young defensive players on this John Pagano-led unit, their leading tackler. And former second-round pick out of Miami in his second season.
Yeah, here's going to be Perryman right here. Watch, he'll go in late, dive in on the play. Not sure how he ends up injured on that play. He's holding his back.
So they'll continue to look at him during the stoppage. And Marquette King, in the meantime, will come on to punt for the Raiders. Isaiah Burr stands back deep right around his own 15-yard line. Marquette King, one of the most talented legs in the league. Good hang time under it, and Burst fields from the 20. 46 yards on the punt. 3-point San Diego lead on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. It's always a great gift on Verizon. And by Patriots Day. Select Cities Wednesday, everywhere January 13th.
A lot of people hoping this isn't the final Oakland-San Diego game that we see in this stadium. So much uncertainty in front of both of these franchises as the Chargers take over again. Running play call. This is Hillman, who has been impressive in a reserve role today, taking on tacklers. And one man we haven't mentioned much today, Solomon, is Khalil Mack, who's been on this incredible run. And one thing about his success this year, he's gotten better as games have gone on.
Third quarter, fourth quarter is usually when he makes his mark, and he'll come in and get the strip sack and cover it himself. So you have to pay attention to where he is on the field. He has a way of making quarterbacks nervous.
Strip sack in 3 straight games. He's got a sack in 8 straight. No one's ever done it in 9 straight games, by the way, in the same season. As we take a look at some of what Mack has done so far in this game.
Well, he's made his presence felt. He's been very close. You can see him defending the run, making plays. They have to double team him, but he's still able to dig out the ball carrier and get him on the ground. Been close to getting to Phillip Rivers, but not before Rivers can get rid of it. And so far here in the third quarter, they've been able to keep Phillip Rivers standing up. Now 3rd and 2. Rivers has been getting rid of the ball very quickly, understanding how fast Mack can arrive at the quarterback.
Rivers pass over the middle. It is caught. That'll be a first down catch. Tyrell Williams on the reception. Right around the 30, a pickup of 3 as they're able to move the chains. Tackled on the play by Emerson.
Emerson is in coverage. He'll come across the formation. They've been running a lot of these crossing routes against the cornerbacks for the Oakland Raiders, and so far the receivers are winning. King Dunlap swallowing up Khalil Mack. Again, Rivers getting rid of the ball quickly.
David Emerson, who last season set a Oakland franchise record with 26 passes defensed. Got there, but just a hair late. First down run by Farrow. And that'll get him close to the 36-yard line, a pickup of 4. Well, tonight on CBS, don't miss the hit drama NCIS Los Angeles with a special holiday case. It's a new episode of NCIS Los Angeles tonight after 60 minutes, only CBS. Qualcomm Stadium. It has felt like Oakland South so far in this game with all the Raiders fans in attendance. Oakland winning in the first matchup between these two teams in a thriller back in Oakland in Week 5. Rivers from the gun on 2nd and 6. That pass is deflected and off the hands of the intended receiver, Williams, and then T.J. Carey was almost there for the pick.
Wow, this one was very close. Watch T.J. Carey, number 38. What do? We intercept all tips and overthrows. That one was tipped, just hanging in the air for Carey to take it away.
Carey, the former 7th-round pick out of Ohio, bit of a reduced role this season, but has had more snaps since DJ Hayden went down and was lost to the season with that hamstring injury. 3rd and 6. Rivers under pressure and sacked. Danico Autry getting him around the ankles.
How about Autry? You pay attention to Khalil Mack, and Autry's the guy that ends up coming home, coming right down the middle here. They run that stunt, he comes around and up the gut, and that's where Rivers would like to be able to step up in the pocket. Well-designed pressure by the front 4 of the Oakland Raiders.
Autry now at 2.5 sacks on the season with a huge defensive play for Jack Del Rio. Kaiser's punt will bounce just inside the 2 on a perfectly placed punt by the Chargers rookie. Can't do it much better than this. 69-yard punt. 69-yard punt by Drew Kaiser, longest of the season, and that has pinned Derek Carr and the Raiders back Solomon right around their own 3.
Yeah, but they have to be patient. Stick with the running game. This offensive line right now is winning at the line of scrimmage.
Carr from his own end zone fires and completes. Michael Crabtree going airborne. Carr throwing a bullet. It's a pickup of 20 and a first down.
Carr was able to check to this play. He counted 8 defenders in the box. Felt like he could win on the outside to Michael Crabtree, and yes, he did. Trevor Williams on the coverage, but not enough to keep Crabtree from making the grab.
Should be the final play of the quarter. Some movement pre-snap. We saw Melvin Ingram come across prematurely. Here's John Parry.
Neutral zone infraction, defense 54. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Derek Carr is working that hard count. That time he did it from the shotgun. As you can see, John Pagano and head coach Mike McCoy just asking for a little more discipline. Carr loving the fact that he's working the hard count.
So the final second comes off the clock, and that takes us to the end of the 3rd on CBS. Well, the Chargers teamed up with Richland Elementary School, where they held a ribbon-cutting ceremony to unveil a new running club lap tracking system thanks to a $2,000 grant awarded by the Chargers Champions Program, all part of the terrific community outreach program here by the Chargers in San Diego. As we welcome you back to Qualcomm Stadium, 16-13, San Diego in front. Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcott, Scott Kaplan, rest of our CBS crew. The Raiders with so much in front of them, they win and they clinch their first postseason berth, Solomon, since 2002.
Yeah, Derek Carr knows that he's going to have to fight for every point because Phillip Rivers won't quit.
1st and 5 after the encroachment penalty. This is Jalen Richard taking on tacklers, getting close to the 30. Raiders owning the 2nd longest postseason drought in the league behind Buffalo. Trying to bounce back after they saw their 6-game winning streak end 10 days ago in that loss in Kansas City.
Now, I like what I'm seeing from the Raiders. They're continuing to stick with the run game, whether it's Murray, whether it's Richard or Washington. They're using a trio of running backs to jumpstart the run game and adding balance to the offense.
Amari Cooper lines up in the backfield on this play. Pass play is caught. Michael Rivera. And then the football comes loose, but the officials say it is a catch. Kyle Emanuel was there on the tackle, a pickup of 29 and a first down.
This is just a great, what we call a switch route. Watch, he switches and goes outside, matched up against the linebacker, but great throw. was just an excellent throw, and Kyle Emanuel was in coverage. Now they're going to take a look at it because he did go to the ground.
So Carr trying to get the snap off quickly before
Prior
McCoy
to
had
the
a chance
snap,
to challenge.
San Diego challenged the previous play of a completed catch. We'll review the...
So the call is a completion to Rivera, and they will go under the hood on CBS.
After reviewing the play, it's an incomplete pass. The receiver was going to the ground. Therefore, he must maintain possession of the football. Please reset the game clock. 14-13.
And we'll show you how he lost possession of the ball. Watch the left hand of Kyle Emanuel. He's going to rake at this ball, and Rivera's going to lose it once he makes contact with the ground. Now, the rule states that he has to maintain control of the football after going to the ground, and clearly the ball comes out. So that was an easy one to overturn for the officials.
And what a play by Kyle Emanuel, the fifth-round pick a year ago out of North Dakota State, who really had to battle through a number of injuries, Solomon, as a rookie. One of the bigger defensive plays he's made for the Chargers.
Well, he battled on that play because he was initially beat. Still was able to make a play and get that ball out.
So a 29-yard hookup taken away, and now it's 3rd and 3. Huge play with Oakland down 3. Carr has all day to throw, puts some air under it, far side of the field, and it is incomplete. Intended for Amari Cooper. It was Casey Hayward, the NFL's leader, with 7 picks on the very tight coverage.
All Carr's trying to do is give Amari Cooper an opportunity to make this catch, but it hits the back shoulder of Casey Hayward, and he nearly had himself his 8th interception of the season. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. It's good tight coverage.
Most picks by a Charger since Eric Weddle in 2011. But what an underrated signing he was by Tom Telesco in this front office last offseason. Good looking punt by King. Burris is going to play it. Zigzags his way across the 15 and right around the 17-yard line. 63 yards on the punt, 8 on the return,
kick,
but a flag.
Holding, return team number 31. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, first down.
It's on Adrian Phillips. Christmas Eve day, the NFL on CBS packages up a special slate of games featuring the Patriots, Dolphins, Colts, and Raiders, all looking to find a postseason in their holiday plans. Check your local listings, beginning with JB, Tony, Coach, Bart, and Boomer on a special holiday edition of the NFL Today. A look at the remaining schedules. Big one for Oakland in Week 17, a game in Denver. As right now, Oakland 1, Kansas City 2 in that wild AFC West.
And neither one of those teams have it easy. Look at the Raiders. They've got Indianapolis next week at home, but you're going to have to finish strong. Love the way the schedule makers make you compete down the stretch. You don't get to sit anyone. You got to play it out.
This has been a pro-Raiders crowd, to say the least, in San Diego till this point. As Rivers and company get back to work, one play to Farrow, the undrafted rookie out of Houston, making his first career start for the injured Melvin Gordon. And Farrow, till this point, only 30 yards on 10 attempts.
And on the previous possession, the Chargers were able to score, but Josh Lambo missed the extra point. So we're sitting here at 16-3. So Rivers and this offense, they need more points. They're looking to try to put this game away by maintaining possession. 16-13 right now.
Rivers under center, run play called here on 2nd and 7. Little extra gasp by Farrow. And Salmon, this is fun. We'll find out a lot about this Raiders team. Of course, that long winning streak ending in a tough game at Kansas City, and now with this postseason berth kind of dangled in front of them, this uncharted territory for a lot of these players.
Well, they have to be able to come away with a stop. And Phillip Rivers talked about it. He had 5 turnovers on the road last week against the Carolina Panthers. He's done a really good job of protecting the ball today. Now this Raiders defense, if they get the pressure turned up, they can turn you over in a hurry because they're one of the best at it in the NFL.
See what San Diego has done on third down. The play clock is down to 1. Rivers finally recognizes and has to burn a timeout. San Diego is now out of timeouts. Had to burn a couple earlier, and that could loom large as this one comes down the stretch.
What happened there is the play came in from the sideline. It was one of those plays where you have to set a guy in motion, bring him back. Well, he didn't have enough time to get all that done. That's why he was looking to the sideline saying, hey, you gave me a play that we could not execute it in terms of the pre-snap read. He says, you know, what are we doing? So that's the communication of these plays coming in from offensive coordinator Ken Whisenhunt. You see they're talking about it, some of the procedural elements of the play. But if you don't have enough time on the play clock, you can't send in a play where you have to set players in motion just to read the defense.
Remember, San Diego lost a timeout on a challenge earlier. So they're out of timeouts with 3rd and 3 here coming up. They'll keep it on the ground to Farrell. Close to the 15-yard line. Appears as though he has enough for the first down, and he does as the officials signal. Farrell knew exactly where that first down marker was, and he gets it.
And that was a big play. Without Melvin Gordon in the game, Kenneth Farrell, they give him the ball on 3rd down. And this is what Mike McQuay talked about. We just need to be effective in the run game. He knows that they may not come in here and rush for over 100 yards, but at critical moments, they just need to be effective enough to move the chains.
So the Chargers now do have 1 timeout. So they used one earlier. And they do have 1 timeout left in their back pocket. So we sort through that confusion. And the football looked like came loose. Who's got it?
Turnovers have been a problem. At least they were last week for this Chargers offense. So far they've done a good job protecting the football. This ball is going to be a fumble. This ball came out from Farrell. It looks like the Raiders have recovered it.
No signal yet, and now the officials say Raiders football. Malcolm Smith recovering for Oakland as San Diego turns it over.
Kenneth Farrell just talked about him being good with the football. Watch this play here. Now he's going to slam it in there. Now watch that ball gets ripped right out, right there by number 54, Perry Riley Jr. And then Malcolm Smith pounces on it and gets the recovery. Perry Riley Jr., 54, right there with the rake. Ball comes out. Farrell was not down on the play. Then Smith gets the recovery. What a great play by the Raiders defense. Jack Del Rio loves it, getting the ball for his offense inside the 15-yard line.
Well, Mike McCoy, in our conversation with him earlier this week, lamented Solomon just how much of an issue the turnovers have been. He says, when we haven't turned it over, we have been a special offense, but unfortunately it has been a major theme for this team all season. So now Carr and company with a very short field, down 3 with 11:30 to play in the 4th. Latavius Murray tackled by Melvin Ingram. As this one gets a little bit more interesting here down the stretch.
Raiders spent a lot of the week, Spiro, working on their red zone offense simply because they hit a stone wall in Kansas City. The defense got turnovers just like what you saw here and gave the offense the ball down inside the red zone. They were 1 for 4 in that Thursday night game inside the red zone against the Chiefs. So let's see if the hard work pays off.
Jameis Olawale, the lone setback. Flanking Carr, he takes the little screen pass. Olawale going very close to the end zone. Finally brought down right around the 2-yard line. A pickup of a dozen, and it'll be 1st and goal Raiders.
I like the design of this play. It's a fullback screen, and he'll catch it and get right at the 2-yard line. It was well conceived, well executed.
Only the 11th catch on the season for Olawale. Again, if you've just joined us, the Raiders can earn a postseason berth with a win here this afternoon. First and goal just outside the 1. One play, this is Murray, and he is stood up. Kyle Emanuel had a big play just moments ago, leading the charge for the Chargers.
When you run out of shotgun, it almost tips your hand of where you're going to go with this ball. You're going to go behind Olawale right there. When you play defense, you've got to play the run game to what we call the tilt of the backs. You're going to run behind the big guy, Olawale. The defense was alerted by the alignment where the fullback was, and they were there to get the stop.
Play action from Carr, throwing end zone, incomplete. Over the hands of the tight end Walford, and it will be 3rd and goal coming up.
Walford was never open on this play. It was well defended. You see him coming right out here. He's well defended. You can see Denzel Perriman was in coverage. Also got help from secondary defenders who were peeling off to help out Jalil Odai.
3rd and goal. Murray stood up again. It's Emanuel once again for San Diego. And how big has this kid been on the last couple of possessions?
Well, this is why they spent the week working on the red zone offense. Again, running to the side of the fullback, and you can see the defense, all blue jerseys are alerted. Kyle Emanuel, he's able to knife in, make yet another play. Look at that play. Emanuel knifing in, getting the stuff. The Raiders offense not executing well inside the red zone.
Emanuel, who was a revelation for this team last summer in training camp, former 5th-round pick out of North Dakota State, has been bothered by a number of injuries. One of the big moments of his San Diego career as Janikowski boots the field goal in, and we are tied on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Jaguar, the art of performance. Kay Jewelers, for 100 years, every kiss begins with K. And by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Happy holidays from San Diego, all tied at 16. Sebastian Janikowski able to convert that last field goal, and we are tied at 16, but a huge effort, Salmon, by that San Diego defense.
Yeah, the defense came through. Looked like the Raiders were going to go in for a touchdown after the Kenneth Farrow fumble. The defense held up.
Janikowski showing that leg, and Rivers will have it from the 25. The reason we are tied, one of them, is botched point after earlier by Josh Lambo. The hold by Clemens looked good. We know the footing has been an issue, but it just looked like Lambo missed it.
Yeah, it was just a miss. I thought the snap was good, the hold was good, and that's why he's working on it.
Keep in mind the botched field goal by San Diego in the first meeting between these two teams, just as the Chargers had fought their way back to tie that game. Ended up losing 34-31 in a thriller. You see the game summary. 8:38 to play. All tied at 16. First down pass from Rivers underneath. This is Farrow. Trying to atone for that turnover a moment ago. Forced out of bounds by Perry Riley Jr., the 7th-year man out of LSU. It's a pickup of 7.
As we are now deep into the 4th quarter, we talked about, Phillip Rivers' play last week. He was fully accountable for those 5 turnovers 1 week ago. He says, look, I should be counted on to be able to come through for my teammates. He relishes moments like this with the game on the line, the ball in his hands, and he knows he's got to come through in order for them to win today against the Raiders.
play called as Farrow is going nowhere. The other thing he said was, look, we know the position we're in. I'm not going to play conservatively and lose 35-3 every week. He's clearly been a gunslinger this season, trying to take some chances down the field.
Yeah, he said last week he tried to take too many chances. Had the interceptions, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles. He knows, he said, hey, turnovers are the biggest determining factor for how games turn out. Now on 3rd and 2, when he has to make a play, it has to be a calculated risk in order to convert the 3rd down play.
Barely get the play off. Rivers' pass on a crossing route is caught. Hard hit as that Oakland defense was right there. David Amerson, who has made so many big plays for them, with a vicious hit on Tyrell Williams.
Oh, Amerson takes what we call a great pursuit angle right here to the ball. Watch this. Comes out on the other side, able to come downhill and make a hit. Prevent the pickup of that 1st down. Great tackle.
I told you earlier, Amerson last season among their best secondary players. It's a pivotal defensive play here. That punt by Kaiser takes a Raiders bounce into the end zone. 66 yards on the punt, so Carr and company will have it from the 20, all tied at 16 in San Diego. All tied at 16. Derek Carr in this Oakland offense back onto the field. All tied at 16. A win for the Raiders, and they clinched their first playoff berth since 2002. And it has been a quiet day so far for Amari Cooper. These two among the most prolific duos in the NFL. Crabtree does have 6 catches, including the touchdown. Murray breaking free. Still on his feet, taking on tacklers just shy of the 50. A gaping hole through the middle of that defense.
Wow, this is just a great play. Good blocking by Gabe Jackson. Watch the block here, because this is going to hit right on the other side of number 66. Look at that block, and then the nice run. And these receivers, we talk about their lack of production. They're drawing so much coverage on the outside, not enough defenders at the second level to stop this Raiders run game.
27-yard burst by Murray. 1st and 10 Oakland from their own 47. Play action from Carr. He's got time. His pass is caught. Seth Roberts with another Raiders 1st down. And suddenly this San Diego defense on their heels. It's a pickup of 22.
Raymond, you can run the football. Everything opens up. Seth Roberts able to come across the formation. The protection is there for Carr. Carr does take a shot after releasing this ball to Seth Roberts, but he's going to feel good about it. Raiders offense has come alive.
That was the rookie Chris Landrum who got to Carr. A little bit late. And look at Carr spreading the wealth. 10 different receivers who've made a catch. 1st down pass here from Carr, a little bit too far in front. Penalty flag comes in. Walford, the tight end, was the intended receiver.
Yeah, you have to wonder if Walford was held at the line of scrimmage, and that's why the ball's overthrown just a little bit.
No foul for net ineligible downfield. Number 71 had reported on the previous play and remained in the game, same position. No foul.
So the officials pick up the flag, and it is simply an incomplete pass. And fun to see Carr navigate under these kinds of circumstances, Sam, and everything on the line that we've been talking about.
He's making some plays, but you know, it's time for Cooper to join the party. He's had fewer than 60 receiving yards in 5 consecutive games, and right now only 1 catch for 28 yards for the talented receiver.
Cooper over the 1,000-yard mark for the season. It has certainly been quiet. This is Jalen Richard ducking inside the 30, tackled on the play by Bosa. A pickup of 2. And a big third down play coming up as we move inside of 5 minutes left.
What makes the Raiders difficult to defend is they have a number of different players they can go to at critical moments, whether it's Cooper or Crabtree. Seth Roberts is good at working the middle portion of the field, and then the tight end Clyde Walford and Michael Rivera are also good over the middle of the field.
Once again, Carr almost exclusively from the shotgun today. Chargers coming on the blitz, giving chase. Carr trying to run for it near side, and he is very close. No signal yet.
That was very close. It just depends on the spot. He was way out in front of the official who ended up spotting the play. Now, see, right now he's in front of the official. You can see right there where he stepped out. See the official behind him, right on top of it.
Appears as though they will bring out the chains crew. It was Jaleel Adai who was coming heavy on the pressure from the backside, and what a race between those two. Carr trying to extend this drive. With this game tied at 16 and 4:16 remaining. He is inches short, about 2 lengths. Decision time for Jack Del Rio.
Yeah, here's the replay here. See where he stepped out. I don't know that that right foot was out, but that's where the official went and spotted it. See right here? That he's in. I don't know if they got the best spot from the official there. But nonetheless, I like my chances of taking a field goal here, to be honest with you.
Oh, we know Del Rio has not been scared to take chances this season. That late 2-point conversion attempt that resulted in a victory for them earlier this season.
I would challenge this spot, though. I really believe they did not get the best spot here that would have given them the first down. His car looked like he stayed in bounds. Let's go ahead and take another look at it. That right foot we showed you was inbound, right there inbound, then left foot inbounds, and the ball's inside. He looked like he got to the 20-yard line.
And now the challenge flag has been thrown out.
That's how you do that. It's a good call. Good challenge by Jack Del Rio.
Oakland has challenged the previous play in relationship to the line of the game. We'll review the play.
John Parry going under the hood on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Garmin Fitness. Let's beat yesterday. And by Amazon Prime. Get free 2-day shipping on millions of items.
Well, that last play by Derek Carr still under review. Jack Del Rio challenging the spot. Is there conclusive evidence to change the call? That's the question in front of John Parry and this crew.
And keep in mind, it's not where he goes out of bounds. It's where the ball crosses the boundary. And I think he's clear right there. You can see inside of the 21. So the feet are in, and you can see the ball is still in the field of play. And that's why he felt good about it initially. So he kept the ball in that left hand. And by the time the ball crossed the boundary mark, it was inside of the 21-yard line. Remember, the 21-yard line is the line to gain the first down.
Oh, Carr not out of bounds until he touches
After reviewing
the
the play, when the runner crossed the sideline, the back of the football was at the 21-yard line. We'll respot the ball to be a first down Oakland.
So the challenge by Del Rio works out for the Raiders. Call overturned and a fresh set of downs for Derek Carr in this offense.
Well, it was clear evidence that he was inbounds. The ball was certainly inbounds. So Really good observation by Jack Del Rio.
Final score from Denver, the Patriots over the Broncos 16-13. They clinch a first-round postseason bye. We welcome those of you that have been watching that game from Denver. Spiro Dedes, Solomon Wilcots, Scott Kaplan, rest of our crew from Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. A win for the Raiders clinches their first playoff berth since 2002 and would end the second longest NFL postseason drought behind only Buffalo. One play call. This is Murray spinning his way for a minimal pickup. Damian Square on the tackle, a pickup of 2. This is where we sit currently. Keep in mind, Kansas City, a loser earlier today at home to Tennessee, so the Raiders back at the top of the AFC West, and again, they win, and they're in.
Yeah, and the Raiders need to keep winning because should they have the same record as the Chiefs, they would lose by way of the tiebreaker, having lost their 2 regular season games to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Derek Carr, no stranger to leading his team to come from behind wins in the fourth quarter. Play action here. That pass is incomplete. And those two just have not been on the same page today. Cooper again, just 1 catch if you've just joined us. Good coverage on the play by Hayward.
And Hayward's doing one heck of a job in terms of his overall tight coverage, good footwork, and real good tackling. Not allowing yards after the catch. He's been in the hip pocket of Amari Cooper all day.
3rd and 8.
You know, the fade route has been good to Michael Crabtree.
Crabtree lined up at the top of your picture in that bunch formation set. Carr set! Melvin Ingram wrapping him up. Second time they've gotten to Carr in this game.
Ingram and Bosa, they're going to come over from this side to the right side. And that was just a really good play. He was able to beat Austin Howard, the right tackle. Beat him immediately.
Keep in mind, this Oakland team entered the day giving up the fewest sacks in the league, just 13. They've given up 2 in this game. Ingram now San Diego's team leader, his 7th sack of the season as Janikowski just barely is able to hit from 44 yards out. And the Oakland Raiders with 2:40 remaining are back in front.
Oh, the extra points are exciting. Field goals. Can't walk away until you see it go through the uprights. That one, wow. Looked like it started out outside the upright, curled in on the left side. Derek Carr said, oh, yeah, we needed that one. Look how close this one was, Spiro. Look at that. Wow. Sebastian Janikowski. Have you ever hit that golf shot? You just wanted to work it. Just had to keep leaning with it, right?
Yeah, Sebastian didn't even break his sweat. 17 years in the league. Man, they drafted 17th overall back in that 2000 draft. As good a career by a kicker as we've seen in league history. So a seesaw game sees the Raiders back in front, 3-point lead with 2:40 remaining. And how many close games have these Chargers been in this season? As this one is returned by Jeremy Davis, short kick by design and excellent coverage down the field by Darren Bates. A look at the summary. Early fireworks. Rivers to Benjamin for the 47-yard touchdown.
Yeah, the speed got the Chargers on the scoreboard early, and then Carr to Crabtree just before halftime to tie it up at 10 apiece. And then the rookie, Hunter Henry, getting in on the action with a 7-yard touchdown reception. Then the missed extra point by Lambeau. That will come back to haunt him. Of course, Derek Carr and the Raiders end up taking the lead on the Sebastian Janikowski field goal.
Rivers' first down pass incomplete, intended for Benjamin. It's a Chargers team that will miss the playoffs for a third straight year, sixth time in 7 years. But Salmon, even at 5-8, they've been in a lot of close games this season. 11 of their 13 have been decided by 8 points or less.
And sometimes the seed of one season can begin in the previous year. When you're closing out a season in the month of December, your final 3 games, you learn how to win games like this, come from behind, and start winning with a young group around Phillip Rivers. Good things can happen.
2nd and 10. Raiders giving chase, and they get to Rivers. It's Bruce Irvin with the sack.
Bruce Irvin just kept working against King Dunlap, coming around the back door. He's going to come from the backside of Rivers, who never see him coming. He could feel him, but he beats King Dunlap and able to track down Phillip Rivers.
Second sack for Irvin and the third by Oakland in this game. 2-minute warning, 3-point game on CBS. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS, and the Raiders take on the Chargers. Spiro Dita, Salmon Wilcott, Scott Kaplan. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety.
Oakland defense is making plays, like you said, Spiro, getting into the face of Phillip Rivers. That was Khalil Mack coming in with the low hit. This is where Khalil Mack begins to make plays. In the fourth quarter is where he tends to get most of his sacks.
4th and 15 as Rivers will work from the gun. Here they come, Irvin with the contact, and that pass is intercepted. Picked off by Reggie Nelson. Nelson will stumble forward just shy of the 10. And the Raiders and their fans can taste it.
Raider Nation, they're loving the pressure. We always say pressure leads to picks. Phillip Rivers took a hit from Bruce Irvin coming around the backside. I watched this hit as Rivers was releasing this pass, caused the pass to go errant and away from the intended receiver, right in the hands of Reggie Nelson.
Second San Diego turnover. It was Inman, the intended receiver. And Reggie Nelson reunited in Oakland with Jack Del Rio. Played for him his first 3 years in the league down in Jacksonville with a defensive gem for the Raiders.
Tied for the lead in interceptions 1 season ago with Marcus Peters. Reggie Nelson has been a stellar player in the NFL for quite some time.
And Salmon for the Chargers, another lead in the fourth quarter squandered. Think of all the heartbreaking losses that they've had, especially the first quarter of the season. Just kind of adds to the frustration that they have been dealing with all season long. Carr will take a knee, and now 90 seconds away for the Raiders. Jack Del Rio, the East Bay native, talked to us last night about going to Raiders games with his dad as a kid, watching every game at home on Sundays. Didn't shy away from how emotional a moment this would be, as he is now the man leading this franchise back into the playoffs for the first time in 13 years.
Well, he's done it the right way. He and Reggie McKenzie, you could see it's an intense moment for Jack Del Rio.
Oakland will get their record to 11-3 and will maintain first place in the AFC West. Second longest drought behind only Buffalo. Now the party has already begun in the stands here at Qualcomm Stadium.
Well, they've drafted well. Players like their quarterback, Derek Carr, Khalil Mack, Mari Cooper, and The coaches have done a really good job developing and training the players.
Have to mention Reggie McKenzie as well, all the work that he has done, as you alluded to earlier, Solomon, with his front office building to this moment. As the Oakland Raiders have punched their ticket to the NFL postseason, their 13-year playoff drought is over. Final score 19-16 as the Raiders get to 11-3. Derek Carr, who lost his first 10 starts as a rookie back in 2014. Viewed upon by so many as the savior of this franchise, has led the silver and black back to the NFL postseason. Updated look at the AFC playoff picture. Raiders now to 11-3 with just 2 regular season weeks left. Reminder coming up later tonight on CBS. NCIS Los Angeles, Madam Secretary and Elementary. Again, the final, the Raiders 19 and the San Diego Chargers 16 coming up. We will have 60 minutes followed by NCIS Los Angeles, Madam Secretary and Elementary. Jack Del Rio enjoying the moment, the interception to seal it by Reggie Nelson. Now for Solomon Wilcott, Scott Kaplan, rest of our crew, Spiro Ditas saying so long from San Diego.